Just so we have it.
James Garrett, Garrett.
What's happened here? What's the situation with this fire?
Well, right at about 7 o'clock this morning, we got a call for a house fire. Our crews got here fairly quickly. As we were going through the process of putting out the fire, we had a roof failure, a roof collapse. The ceiling came down on about three of our firefighters in there. We generally have, and we did in this case, have a RIT team or a rapid deployment team to go in a situation like that. They were able to retrieve the firefighters within 3 minutes, and those firefighters are out and at the hospital this time.
Do you know the extent of their injuries?
They're minor injuries right now. I don't know the extent of them as we speak, but this is rolling and we're getting new information here. So.
You were told back and leg injury.
Back and leg injuries. I was told it was minor injuries. They were not life-threatening injuries.
Okay.
And all three are in the hospital?
No, just 2 of them in the hospital this time.
The other one was treated here?
The other one was treated and found not to be injured, so he's still here.
Were they inside the home or were they outside of it and it collapsed on them?
They were inside the home and about the front of the structure, doing work on the structure when we had the roof failure and the collapse.
Did anybody live in that house?
I don't know if the house was occupied as of yet. It does look like it was occupied, but don't have that information right now.
No one was inside the house at the time?
Don't have that information
Do you know
either.
who reported the fire?
I don't know who reported the fire, but again, it gets rolling here. So and debit out the please.
And who spotted the fire? Who contacted you guys?
Well, we got a 911 call for the fire. I don't know exactly who the call who put the call in, but as we got here, I think we do have a occupied residence. I do believe, but don't have any more information from that. We do have 2 firefighters that are injured and are at the hospital at this time. So.
Were they in there? Had a call been to have everybody come out and then they go back in, or do you know the sequence?
No, this was during the course of actually putting the fire out, and I think they were going through what we call overhaul or putting out hot spots and things of that nature. So they were getting to the end of what we had to do there when we had the failure.
So it's a 1-alarm, 2-alarm fire. When you get firefighters trapped inside, what you only have is there a call for Mayday?
Yeah, they generally call for Mayday, and that's what happened in this case. And we had to go through our proper procedures to make sure that we cleared that Mayday. But in this case, what was your question again?
Was it a multiple alarm fire?
No, just the first alarm fire.
Okay. And the collapse happened is they were putting out the fire? Or?
Right.
Okay.
Well, and you guys are going to be dealing with a lot of fires, obviously, in the winter months, things like that. I don't know, just talk to us about just the dangers that you guys are facing, the cold, and then obviously when buildings are collapsing, when they're abandoned, if they're abandoned, things like that.
Well, again, at this time of year, we do have a spike in fires and calls such as fire. So we do have to get prepared as far as the weather goes, and it is tough fighting that in extreme weather, especially when you're trying to put water on the fire and the water's freezing on you, and you have to deal with that freezing on you and not getting to where you wanted to on fire as well. So those are some of the things that we have to deal with, and we got other cold weather emergencies and things like that we have to deal with as well. So.
And what were the protocols when, since the incident from a year ago with the 2 firefighters, what new protocols were put in place for those initiated during this particular fire?
Well, the new protocols that were put in place because of the collapse were not necessarily needed here because we've already had policies in place for Mayday calls and calls such as firefighters getting trapped into that nature. So those policies were in place. Those policies worked to perfection. If you ask me, they got the firefighters out within 3 minutes, and we just have minor injuries to report.
Do you know were they buried in rubble? Did it just knock him out into the yard?
Well, it didn't knock them out into the yard because they were trapped inside the house, but they were really trapped there.
Yeah.
So they did have to get debris off of them and do some things to get them out of that.
Was that debris burning, or was it just debris?
Yeah, you did still have burning debris during that time. So it was a very tense situation.
Do you know how many men it took to get those 3 out of there?
Well, we generally have a RIT team that's deployed in situations like that. But a lot of times when you have fire going on and you have some a failure or a trap firefighter there, that you have all activity stop and you start to concentrate on those deals. And so that does change your strategy a lot. So.
Do you know how long?
I think from the reports to dispatch, I think we're right about 40 to 50 minutes.
And how many firefighters fought?
By the first alarm, say about 18 to 20.
But you were at it appeared that you were at the tail end